and that's what you got. So 3 officers. Yeah. WPC just see the camera, spun round and just ran the other way. So more interested in their food more than anything. But what has been good is it's good for photography that I've just been left alone. A couple of officers came out, yep, they came out to get their lunch, but they just left me alone. So that's inside on the actual pillar, and let's just see. So you have regional organised crime unit, community investigation team, divisional intelligence unit and divisional coaching unit, and then you got ASBO and everything else. Let me just move out the way because you've got this officer here. So
before we go any further, let's set the stage. What you're about to watch isn't some chaotic street arrest or high-speed chase. It's something far more revealing. A camera, a police station, and a single question: how do officers react when someone calmly exercises their right to film? Today's confrontation unfolds outside Horsham Police Station, where an auditor arrives with no weapons, no threats, and no unlawful behavior, just a camera and curiosity. At first, everything seems routine. Officers walk by. No drama. No tension. But then, something shifts. A police community support officer steps into frame, and what begins as indifference quickly spirals into ego, escalation, and physical contact. Here's what makes this interesting: there's no crime. No allegation. No emergency. Just authority meeting scrutiny. And as we'll see, when authority can't clearly articulate its legal footing, frustration often replaces professionalism. Watch carefully. The turning point.
Come back, sir.
Come on this way.
Well, first of all, you're not a police officer,
That's
so
right.
don't tell me what
But
to
you're
do,
on
sir.
property,
Can
so
you
let's go this way.
can you actually identify yourself first, sir?
No, you identify yourself.
I don't need to.
Neither do I.
Okay.
Back round here.
No chance, sir.
Can you come back round?
No chance, sir.
That's right.
Okay. So, guys, as you can see, this PCSO here just came out and just tried to completely push me out the way. Right.
You put your arms on me as I walk.
No, you walk straight up to me, sir. Do not even try that one. It's all on camera, so don't worry about that, sir. So, and don't worry, I'll be requesting a copy of that.
I'll request a copy of yours too.
You've got no chance, sir. You're held
you've
by
got no
GDPR. I'm not. So let's verify that,
Well,
sir.
you're on private property.
Well, are you the landowner? Are you the landowner, sir?
No, but I represent who does.
Okay.
So I'm asking you nicely.
No, you're a PCSO, so
That's
do not
right.
even attempt to
Well, I can
actually
ask you
speak
nicely.
to me.
If I walked
And I
into-
can decline, sir.
Okay. So if I walked into
So
that
I can
garden without
decline,
permission,
sir.
would that be okay?
I can decline, sir. Right?
So in private, if I
So you got a PCSO here,
Okay.
refusing to
Question
identify
to you.
himself. Okay.
I walk into your.
21907.
Well done. That's it.
Okay.
That's what you're entitled to, and you've got it now.
Don't worry. Yeah, but you failed to do it, so you will be retrained on that, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
Right?
I appreciate customer feedback.
You were, well, you've got no absolute
So
respect
question-
for members of the public.
No,
You
what
have
you gotta
none at all,
understand
sir. You have none at
if
all.
I
I don't
walk-
have to
if I
listen to a
walk-
word you say, sir.
if I
You
walked
fail
into
to
your
identify
garden,
yourself to me,
would you
so
be able
I
to
do
ask me
not
to
speak
leave?
to you.
If I walked
Okay?
into your garden, would I be able to ask
Yes,
you to
and
leave?
it's a civil matter,
That's
sir.
right. So can you please leave?
It's a civil matter. The
So
answer
I'm
is
asking
no,
you,
sir.
You're welcome to record.
Fully sworn officers walking past show no concern. No panic. No orders. No claims of private property. That alone sets the tone. If this were truly a restricted or sensitive breach, you'd expect immediate intervention. Instead, they carry on. That tells us the presence of a camera alone isn't inherently suspicious. But here's where dynamics change: a PCSO steps in. PCSOs have limited powers compared to constables. They're meant to provide support, community reassurance, visibility. So when escalation starts coming from that level instead of trained response officers, it raises a critical question: is this about enforcing law or asserting authority? Watch how quickly the language shifts from casual observation to territorial control. That pivot is everything.
Barrier there.
No,
public
not on the
access.
pavement, sir. And there's no sign
You're not on
saying
the
do
pavement,
not
you're in a
actually
private
come
car park.
through here.
You're in a private
There's
car
no.
park, not
Yeah,
a
that's
footpath.
because you forced me this way, sir.
I didn't force you.
Yes, you did.
You were stood here.
I
filming
stepped
through
down
our
off the
window.
steps and
No,
you walked right. The camera don't lie,
filming
sir.
through there while I was in the toilet,
Sir, I
which is
have
a bit
nothing more to
strange to me.
say to you.
Yeah, I came out
Okay?
the toilet and you're
You
filming
are
through
a
the glass.
complete bully boy, nothing more. You are
So
a
if I
complete
came to
bully
your
boy.
house and filmed
Number
through your
one,
window,
you
is that
failed to identify
I
yourself.
don't have to explain myself to you.
Yes, you do, sir.
You're
Yes, you do, sir. Look, do me a favour. You don't even have the powers of a traffic warden, so do me a favour and in polite words, please go, leave me alone to do what I'm lawfully allowed to
You're
do.
not allowed in this private area. That's not lawful.
Yes, I am, sir.
If I walked into your garden without
Yes, I
legal
am, sir.
purpose, would that be reasonable?
Okay?
Would that be reasonable?
It
It's a simple
becomes a
yes or no.
civil matter.
Could I walk into
It
your
becomes
garden?
you can walk into my garden.
And would you be happy with that?
Okay?
And I filmed you
Sir,
through your windows.
It makes no difference.
What if I filmed you through your windows? Would that be okay?
It's a civil matter, sir.
It's not.
It is a civil matter.
It becomes a privacy issue.
When
doesn't
when it's
it's like
public,
stalking harassment,
when
that,
it's
isn't it?
private property, it is a civil matter of
But
trespass.
filming through someone's private
It is
windows
a civil matter.
illegal.
I
It is
can
illegal.
I can film whatever my eye can see from the public. End of story.
But this is not
It's
public area.
publicly
This is not a public
accessible.
area.
So
You know
do me a
that.
favour. Do me a favour.
I appreciate you've got
okay?
hobbies.
Do me
but
a
you have to do
favour.
it from- it's
There was
sad.
two nice officers that walked in there that said hello to me just round the corner and let me carry on
Yeah,
doing
you
what I'm
shouldn't be
doing.
filming through our windows,
Sir,
and
look,
you shouldn't be in a
I can
private
film
car park.
whatever I can see. So do me a
Is it-
favour. I'm going to carry on with my
I think
business.
you're
I'm going to
obviously
carry
being
on with my
obstructive.
business.
It's
So
difficult.
it's that simple. Okay? So you've got a PCSO there that thinks he can throw his weight around. He was most probably bullied at school, and that's why he decided to put on that fake police officer's uniform, and that's what he's decided to do. As you've seen from the camera, he decided to come right the way out and completely push up right in my face. So it looks like there is where you've got the cells, and that's what you've got. So, and that's what it is. So, but this guy here, what a complete bully boy, nothing more. He must have been really bullied at school. He must have. So, and that's the thing.
I'll try to explain
Okay.
to the gentleman.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. How are you?
Good, not too bad.
Can
Would
I,
you mind
have
identifying? Would you mind identifying?
Yeah, my name's PC Wells. My warrant number is Echo Alpha 022.
Thank you very
As
much,
you can
sir.
see on my shoulder.
Thank you
there,
very
sir.
much for identifying yourself.
Can I ask what you're doing here today, please?
Yes, I'm doing a lawful activity,
Okay.
and I'm down here to try and engage.
And there it is, physical contact enters the scene. This is the moment that changes everything. Because in any professional policing context, force must be lawful, necessary, and proportionate. It can't stem from irritation. It can't stem from disagreement. And it certainly can't stem from "I don't like that you're filming." The auditor immediately calls it out, "Don't touch me." That's a boundary. And instead of de-escalating, the exchange turns defensive. When someone says, "I'm not pushing you," while the other insists they are, credibility becomes central. Cameras don't just record events, they record reactions. And reactions often reveal more than the incident itself. Ask yourself, if there was no crime being committed, what justified
Completely in my face and pushing me away.
Okay.
Right. So I will say thank you very much for that, sir.
Okay.
And what I,
Tell you what, give us 2 seconds, bud. I'll have a chat with him, and then do you want to go with Caro? Have a chat with Caro, and then we'll get two sides of the same story, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so yes, so I'm just down here because recently you've actually got the Police Federation for Sussex that did actually release a statement saying that they believe themselves that there is a complete divide between the public and the police.
Right.
So I'm just down here. As you know, there aren't many police on the street at the moment. A lot of them go around in vehicles. The main place you can see the police is at a police station.
Okay.
Now, as I've come round, there's no signs around there saying no public beyond that point. That's why I'm allowed to actually access this under Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act of 1972. So I'm allowed access round here because there is no sign round the front. He came round when I was standing over there, and I've got it all on camera, and he just completely pushed up and pushed me into the corner. You can see I walked with a stick, and he tried to push me over. Right?
Okay.
I will be filing assault charges for that because he should not have done that. Also, he failed to identify who he was. Right? Not like yourself. When you came out, I asked you to identify yourself. You've done that. It was perfectly fine. Okay. Now, what I will actually show you, just so we can actually clarify this. Okay. So, not like what this one does, I understand. As you can see, that is from the NSPCC.
Thank you very much.
Do you mind just identifying yourself for me, if you don't mind?
PC Gawley.
Okay, and your collar number, please.
Echo Alpha 334.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So you can see clearly from that, okay, what's come out. I'm completely well within my rights to do so, and it says that we are allowed to do so. So, and once I've done my story, then I will make my way and I'll be off. Now, there were 2 officers that came out to get their lunch. They said good afternoon and everything else, and they were really pleasant. And that's how it should be. And they wonder why there's a divide. Now, the way that you've come out, if you were on the street, that would be a fantastic interaction with any member of the public. And that's what the public want to see.
Of course.
It's when you get somebody like this gentleman here, and the way that he went, that is what gives good officers a bad name. And that's what we have to come away from. And that's why I just come down to see what officers' views were on whether or not they believe there is a divide.
It's something that I'm not going to comment on,
Okay.
and for the simple reason of
And that's your
we
right
have
not to
our
comment.
media departments that speak on
Yep.
behalf of the police. I'm very conscious that we are all stood here in a uniform, and that my personal comments on the matter could then be construed as being the views of Sussex Police, and that's
Yeah,
not
no,
the case.
no, that's fair
See,
enough.
my views are my own, but when I wear this uniform, I represent Sussex Police,
Yep.
as do my colleagues here. Okay?
That's fair enough.
So, with respect to you, sir, I'm going to refrain
That's
from
fine.
commenting.
That's not a problem,
And
sir.
if you wanted a comment from the police service in relation to the divide between
Yeah,
us and the
I've
public,
contacted the press office a
Right.
number of times, but they only ever seem to get back to me when there's something good to actually be
Right,
said.
okay.
And that is a sad thing, because
The legal chess match begins. Identification. Authority. Lawful instruction. The auditor requests identification, a reasonable request when being directed. The response? You identify yourself. That's not a legal explanation. That's a standoff. Notice the absence of cited powers. No mention of specific legislation. No explanation of lawful grounds. Just repeated direction. And here's the bigger issue: if you're going to give instructions that restrict someone's movement, you must anchor that instruction in authority. Without it, it becomes opinion, not law. The conversation shifts from what is the law here to who's in charge. That subtle shift is often where conflicts escalate.
go forward. And as I said, you've been really polite, you've been really professional, and it's been really, really good. As I said, if you don't want to answer the question, you don't need to answer the question. And that's perfectly fine. That's well within your rights to do so. But what is not acceptable is what this actual PCSO did. That's not acceptable in
again,
any way.
I can't comment on that because obviously I didn't witness that again. And like you said, you're well within your rights to make any sort of complaint that you wish to do so. And if you need to know how the process works in relation to making an internal complaint about a member of Sussex Police staff, we can go through that. That's not a problem.
That's fine.
In the interest of, like you said, I've been polite with you and been absolutely fine with you, and I appreciate what you've said about the signage. And that is obviously something that we will have to address if that is the case. But can I ask there to be some sort of compromise between the two of us? I'm happy to continue having a conversation with you, for the time being. But this is a private car park, whether it's signed or not. Like I said, you've quoted the Act of Parliament to me. However, I'm going to ask for some sort of compromise between the two of us, considering that I've been absolutely perfectly polite with you, and therefore I see no reason for you to to sort of not want to engage with me and to come to some sort of agreement. Okay. I cannot stop you doing what you're doing in terms of your filming and things like that. The only thing I'm going to ask politely is that you don't do it in our private car park, because we should be challenging people to see whether they have police
And
ID
that's
when they are in this.
Professionals call an escalation ladder, and we just skipped several rungs. No clear warning. No lawful explanation. Straight to physical engagement. In UK policing standards, use of force must be justifiable and documented. It must pass the necessity and proportionality test. Standing in an area without signage, without barrier enforcement, without criminal shout. He doesn't threaten. He questions. Calmly. And calm questioning is powerful because it forces the other party to articulate their authority. When that articulation doesn't come, frustration fills the gap. And frustration is.
But could I ask you to do it the other side of the barrier where you've entered from today, please?
I will do. As soon as I finished here, okay, then I will actually move around.
And what is it that you are hoping to gain from being in this car?
Well, no, I'm walking around and I'm looking at the whole building. Okay, the cars that are in here, they don't bother me at all. Okay, they're over there. I'm focused on the building.
Fine.
Okay, is what I'm focused on.
And what part of the building have you got up to this point?
I got to here, okay, when this gentleman came out.
The building itself, because again, I'm sure you know your boundaries better than I do, I'm sure. But that's the only thing I'm going to ask. Okay?
Yep.
And that was the concern I had coming out here. Was I came out the loo, and then the camera was up against the glass through that door filming in, which was obviously concerning to me.
Of course,
of course. I came out to direct him back round to the front of the building, to the public area, but you didn't agree with that.
That's not the way you came out, sir.
Well, we can play the video back if you want.
That's not the way you came out,
Play the video
sir.
back to my colleagues, and
Okay.
you know, obviously they can give
Don't
me
worry,
feedback.
you will get that when you actually get the complaint through.
But
And as I
obviously-
said, failing to identify yourself, okay, that's something that you will
Well,
be trained.
as I said to you,
need to
is
take
we
it from
need-
these officers
we need to,
and
you
actually
need to cooperate
see
with us
what's
as well, don't
said.
you? That's what I was trying to
Well,
understand.
not
is-
the way that you came
the
out.
point
Number
of-
one, you have no power as a community support
No, but I have
officer.
the
That's what
authority to ask you to leave the private area that
you
we
have
represent.
no authority.
We do it on this private area.
You
we
have
do.
no authority,
Well, there we
sir.
go. See, this is what I mean. You're difficult.
No, I'm not
And
being
I'm
difficult.
sure if
You
someone-
actually have no authority.
Just
You're
bear
not
in
the
mind,
landowner.
If a member
It
of
is
public
public
came to your
property.
house, recorded you through your
It
window,
is public
you
property.
you would call the police and say, "Oh, there's some
No,
strange going on here."
I
Someone's
won't,
recording
because
me from my window.
they never turn up, sir. They
Well, I
never
would,
turn
couldn't
up, sir.
So, thank you for letting us have a really
No
good
worries,
guidance
that's
there.
fine,
The
you're
only
more than
thing
welcome.
the only thing that we've got concerns for, which I'm going to ask you
Yep.
to just clarify, is just in relation to point 1.4 here. Okay, and just to be mindful of these bullet points here
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how you're,
yep, and that's perfectly fine.
And I certainly I'm not going to be
Yep.
defending my colleague because I can't comment because I
Yep.
didn't witness it. However, you've kind of got to understand from our point of view that surrounding 1.4 here,
Yep.
you know, and the hostile, reconnaissance and looking at layout of the venue, things like that. That obviously then raises concerns and
Yep.
suspicions with us. But you've got the paperwork there.
Yep.
I just thought like to point that out
and
to you.
that's
sir.
perfectly fine.
Okay.
And as I said, but then if you read the rest of it, that's what the way of actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you actually then read through, it then tells you the way that an officer then should be acting towards somebody that's
I
doing
completely
it.
appreciate
And this
that.
is the thing. When you look at something like that, that's why. Thank you very much. Sorry.
That's good, and I completely appreciate that. And again,
And that is another reason why I keep this on me,
Mm-hmm.
is because it makes things.
Legal tension in plain English, trespass, in most ordinary cases, is civil, not criminal. That means it's typically a matter between landowner and individual, not grounds for immediate police enforcement unless aggravated circumstances exist. The auditor keeps pressing one key point: what law am I breaking? That question matters. Because authority without explanation breeds distrust. Notice how the conversation cycles.